everyone, we got some F1 news, including some major breaking news that came down. We'll talk more about that. In just a second. And honestly, I am still shaken up after what happened a few days ago at the Bahrain Grand Prix with Romain Grosjean. And honestly, I am ecstatic that he's okay. I still can't. I cannot believe. If it wasn't for that halo, he would be dead. Like, seriously, that man. 2020, we saw a lot of scary crashes in motorsports in 2020. We had that flippant IndyCar. We had not to mention the Ryan Newman crash at the Daytona 500 this year. And don't even get me started about that sent Antonio Giovinazzi in the air at the Tuscan Grand Prix. But due to the burns in his hands, Romain will not be driving at the Baku Grand Prix, which is still in Bahrain, but they're using the outer circuit, which I am curious to see how that goes. Instead, it will be their test driver, Pietro Fittipaldi, who has some IndyCar experience, and his family runs in the F1, which is very interesting to hear. But I don't know. I'm not sure this is going to be a one-off for Pietro, but I'm curious to see how this goes. Speaking of Haas, it was announced last night that it was announced. Oh, and Romain Grosjean has been released from the hospital just a few literally 10 minutes ago. They just announced that he was discharged. He was released. Oh, that is fantastic to hear. It was announced that last night. We now know one of the drivers that's going to be taking over. And Pietro's number would be 51. Interesting. Yeah, nice number choice, man. And according to Grosjean, it looks like he is keen to race in Abu Dhabi, which will be his last race for Haas. It was announced last night that Nikita Mazepin will be taking over one of the Haas cars, to the surprise of nobody. And who's going to be the other side? It hasn't been announced, but I have a gut feeling it's Mick Schumacher. Boy, that's going to get some American interest. Getting the son of arguably the best driver in F1 history of this generation. Sorry, Lewis. But that could get some eyes on the Haas team. And even though earlier today, Callum Ayerlock confirmed that he will stay in F2 for one more year, which makes me think that I think it's almost pretty clear, because if Kimi wants to go one more year in 2022, I got a gut feeling Ayerlock's taking Giovinazzi's seat. And now that news that came down the pipeline literally last night, Mercedes announced that Lewis Hamilton tested positive for COVID-19, which honestly caught me really off guard. And I wish him well in his recovery. He's in isolation. And he already locked the championship up in Turkey. So he doesn't have to worry. But with Bahrain's quarantining being so strict, along with Abu Dhabi, 2020 for Lewis Hamilton is pretty much done. So it's almost a guarantee that we may see a Bottas win, unless we see a Ferrari win because 2020. But there was a lot of names that were being tossed around for who's going to take this ride. Would be his replacement. Well, they didn't have to go very far. It was announced just a few minutes ago at the time this video going up that George Russell will be taking that car temporarily. And it's maybe if you ask me, I'm guessing it's probably a test run for what's about to happen, because a lot of people are expecting George Russell to take Bottas' seat. So this could be interesting to see going forward. But now the bigger question, with Russell getting a promotion temporarily to Mercedes, the main Mercedes team, then who is taking his ride? Well, I can tell you, it's not this guy. Sorry, I had to. Yeah, so Callum Ilott, I have a gut feeling he'll be going to Alfa Romeo. Let's see if I can find him. Yep, there he is. Jack Aiken, the 25-year-old, will be taking this ride. Will be taking the Williams ride at this week's Grand Prix, and I am actually very curious to see how Jack Aiken will do in this race. Oh, there's Nikita, by the way. Yeah, a Russian and a German and working for an American company. That's going to be a bit bizarre, but I'm sure this will work out. The big question is, which driver academy does Luca belong to? I'm curious to see how that goes. So that's going to do it here, guys. I want to know what you guys think. What about this breaking news? Hamilton's pretty much more than likely done for the season. And George Russell gets the promotion and Jack Aiken gets the Williams gig. Let me know in the comments, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. And of course, right as I'm starting to edit the video, what comes through the pipeline? We now know the Haas driver lineup taking one of the other cars, and I think this was pretty much F1's big no secret. It is Mick Schumacher, to the surprise of nobody, and I have a gut feeling if he does, he's probably, I'm not going to jinx it, but he is the points leader if F2, and if all things go his way, he is going to be the F2 champion. But standing in his way is Callum Ilott, who did get a podium in the feature race. So, and unfortunately, the sprint race did not go his way, along with UC Tsunoda, which honestly, with the Tsunoda situation, that is going to be very interesting. And that's the UC Tsunoda case is going to be interesting for Daniel Kvyat, because Kvyat's on a nervous seat. Because if Tsunoda doesn't do well in the last two races of the season and does not get his super license, I have a feeling Kvyat's going to be sticking around. And I'll be talking more about the Bahrain Grand Prix when I do my gameplays. So yep, so it's going to be Mazepin and Schumacher for Haas in 2021. Thanks for watching.